Alright, dun dun dun. This is the very last video of proportions from tables and graphs. Alright, so let's see this problem. It says, Bubba's Body Shop charges $25 per hour to fix a car. Complete the table and graph to represent the situation. Be sure to label the axes of your graph. Now, whenever I see word problems like these, I always try to underline the important information. Here, I think this is a math problem, so the number should be important, and it says per hour. That is a unit rate, and that's going to help us do something for this problem. So if it's $25 per hour to fix a car, let's try to fill out this table first. If you are spending only 0 hours, if it's 0 hours and it's $25 per hour, how much is it going to cost you? Well, it's going to be just 0 times 25, and 0 times 25 is 0. Well, it makes sense. If you spent 0 hours, then you should just pay no money, $0. Now, if you spent 2 hours to fix the car, that will now be 2 times 25. 2 times 25 is going to give you 50. Now, the next one is a little different. It's telling you, okay, if you are paying $75, okay, my husband is snoring on the background in the background. Please ignore him if you hear him, okay? So if you're paying $75 to fix the car, how many hours did it take? How are you if you're spending $75, how many hours did it take to fix the car? You can guess or you can work backwards, but mathematically what you could do is you could divide 75 by 25. So if you do 75 divided by 25, and notice I always use fractions for division, you're going to get 3. So that means it's going to be 3 hours to cost you $75. And then if you're paying $125, 125 divided by $25, that one is going to be 5 hours. So it took 5 hours to cost $125. For 8 hours, 8 times 25, that's going to be 200. So the last part here is $200. Now the next part for us is to graph using this points on the table of values. So we know that time and the cost are the two variables. Let's see if you can figure out the independent and dependent variable first to see which one's the x value and which one's the y value. Well, does the money that you pay depend on the hours it took to fix the car? Yes. If you spend more hours, you have to pay more money. So in this problem, the amount of money you pay depends on how long it took to fix the car. So if the money depends on the time, then this here is the dependent variable, and this is the independent variable. So basically, this will be the x value, and this will be the y value. But in this problem, notice they're using C for dependent variable and T for independent variable. So now let's move on to the graph. Let's graph them. Since I have 0.00, you can do that on your notes as well. You don't have to, but I think I'm just going to write these just to make it easier for a lot of people. Now, when you're graphing, you always want to label the axes. Horizontal line is the x-axis, vertical line is a y-axis. And since we said the independent variable is the time, we're going to put time for the x-axis. We're going to label it. And the y-axis is the cost. Just going to put it here. Then we're going to plot the points. You can pause the video and do that on your own to check. Otherwise, you can follow along. So the first point is 0, 0. Then it's 2, 50, so we're going to go all the way up to 50. Then the next one is 3 comma 75, 375 here. Then next point 5 is on the x value and 125 for our y value. So we're going to move up to 125. Come on. And 8 comma 200. So 8 comma all the way up to 200. If you plot this, which I will do right now, your graph will look like this. Perfect. You have the table completed and you have the graph done. All the axes are labeled and your line is long with the arrow at the end. Perfect. So let's go on to our problems, our questions. Part A is asking us, are cost and time, the two variables, x and y or t and c, are they proportionally related in this situation? And how do you know? So basically, is this a proportional relationship? Now, a lot of you, when you answer this, you're going to say yes, because the graph is a straight line and it goes through the origin. But instead of doing that, this question doesn't really ask you about the graph. So what I want you to do is I always want you to go back to the table and try to answer this question. Is this a proportional relationship based on the table of values? And how do you know? Well, we know that this was $25 per hour, and that's why we multiply the independent variables, the time, by 25 to get the dependent variable. And 0 times 25 was 0, 2 times 25 was 0, and everything was multiplied by 25. So basically, in conclusion, this is a proportional relationship because the number of hours are all being multiplied by the same number, which is 25, to get the cost. And here is my answer. Yes, because the number of hours is all being multiplied by the same number, 25. And again, if it does not mention about the graph, I would like you to always answer your question referring to the table. The table shows you that it's all being multiplied by 25. Then if you notice the next question, now it's asking you about the graph. It says, examine the graph and what conclusions can you make? Looking at the graph, it's a straight line and it goes through the origin. Now you can say that and explain that this is a proportional relationship. And this is my answer. This is a straight line going through the origin, so this shows a proportional relationship. Please take a moment to copy these down if you don't have it. Now, the important part about this lesson is being able to explain whether it's proportional or not from a table and from a graph. We have done this before. I am generally using this mostly as a review, but you're also in this lesson using word problems to create your own tables. That's the one additional part that I'm really getting you to practice. And again, if the question is not referring to the graph, if it doesn't tell you anything or ask you anything about the graph, then your answer should always be referring to the table of values. Then if they ask you about the graph, then you can say it's a straight line and it's an origin. Okay, so please make sure you have everything completed. This was the last video of this lesson, so if you are done, then you can leave number 4 blank. We're going to do that together as a class. I would recommend you to go ahead and maybe try it on your own or just look through the problem. Otherwise, this is the end of the video lessons. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know if it helped you. If it didn't, then I'll try to just get you through when we have a discussion together as a class and hopefully answer as many questions as I can. Okay, thank you.